Good morning and welcome to day 20 of August vlogs. Do I need to say that, or have you got the gist by now? You join me sat on my kitchen floor at the moment. I'm just about to put some yarn into soak because we are going to have a bit of an experiment day at the Dyepots today. I'm going to be dyeing up a few of the different bases that I've been talking about. I'm also going to be dyeing up a couple, I think one or two, I haven't decided, probably just one, but I don't know. Halloween colours ready for Perth because I've got a couple of spare pans with all the experimenting. So I thought I'd let you know what I'm going to dye. So we're going to start off, we're going to have a go at dyeing some sock blanks. I've never dyed sock blanks before, so that could be quite fun. I've got a couple of ideas about how I'm going to go about doing it. In terms of the yarn content, this is a merino nylon, so I'm pretty confident with kind of how it'll take the colour and how it'll take speckles and stuff like that, because I've worked with a yarn base before. I've obviously just never worked with dyeing kind of knit fabric, if that makes sense. If you don't know what a sock blank is, I shall explain. Let me see if I can actually pick one up. So basically, a sock blank is a length of knit fabric, and you knit socks from it, but you literally unravel it. You take one end, not that end, the other end. You take one end and you knit from it, and as you knit it will unravel. I'm not going to do it because I'm already really worried that these are going to unravel while I'm dyeing them. But yeah, that's the basic concept, is that you pull from it and you kind of unknit the sock blank as you knit your socks. But it creates a really interesting effect. It's a bit like knitting with frogged yarn, basically. But it does create a really, really interesting effect, and kind of the way that the dye is applied to this, it's quite hard to predict how it's going to knit up on the socks. You often won't get a matching pair with a sock blank. Sometimes people sell double sock blanks where the yarn is knit double into this, so you can knit socks two at a time and you will get matching socks with that. These are single sock blanks because I quite like the fun of just having two random socks. Anyway, so that's my first plan. I've just seen somebody has responded to a message I put on a Yarn Dyers Facebook post about whether they secure the ends. So I think I'm not going to put those into soak until I've read that message. What else have I got? Some more of the wool cotton. So this is the 50% merino, 50% merino, 50% cotton base. I'm going to try this a little bit differently today, and maybe not be so adventurous with the colours that I put in, because it didn't quite take the dye, if you remember earlier in the month. It didn't quite take the dye how I was expecting. Losing my voice now. But yeah, I'm going to dye up kind of 3 skeins of this. I have a few ideas, and hopefully this will make it into the shop at some point. So I'm just going to stick them into soak. I've got a bucket of water next to me, ready to stick them into soak. Then what else have I got here? This is just some merino nylon. A couple of things of merino nylon. I had picked up from a different supplier. I can't remember if I mentioned. I'd picked up from a different supplier some merino nylon skeins. They're not quite the same as my normal merino nylon. They're still a 75-25, but they're 400 meters rather than 425 meters for 100 grams. And the reason I've been a bit hesitant about dyeing them is, I don't know if you can see, but they are a slightly shorter length than my normal skeins, which means that anything that's dyed up on these will knit up differently to anything that's dyed up on other skeins that I own, which always makes me a little bit hesitant. But I've decided to just go with it, and I'm going to dye up some of the Halloween colourways on this. Yeah, because it's still yarn and it's still got the same yardage. And that's the plan. So these two are going to become Halloween colourways. I have 3 pans, and our experiments, I've got kind of 4 things to experiment with. 2 sock blanks, the merino cotton, and then the other one that I've not shown you yet, which leaves me with 2 spare pans. And I don't like to have a dye day with empty pans because I kind of feel like it's a waste of time. If I've got pans on the hob anyway, I might as well use them all. So hence we're doing the Halloween colourways at the same time. And then the final one I've got, sorry, I've got a really wet hand, which is why I'm kind of shaking it. is the BFL Silk, which we've not experimented with yet at all. It's trying to focus on me and not the yarn. There we go. So I'm going to dye up a few skeins of the BFL Silk. I think with this one, I'm going to be aiming for kind of semi-solid colours, quite simple colours with kind of, so like a pink with pink speckles, for example. So it's going to be quite a simple colour. It's not going to be too crazy and in your face. And maybe kind of aim for kind of semi-solids with subtle speckles. That's what I'm going for. But we will see, because, you know, that might be what I'm going for, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be what comes out. Right, let's stick them into soak. Right, they all need a good half an hour to soak. So I am going to get myself organised. I'm going to sit down and have my cup of tea, which has probably gone cold by now. And then I will be back to share the experimenting with you. Okay, so this is the sock blank, the first sock blank. I've got 2 in the pan, and I'm going to kind of speckle them, so we will see how this works. Sorry if you can't see all of it. It's a little bit difficult to get my camera in the right place for all of it, but we're going to go something like this, I think. So today's vlog might end up being a little bit longer than some of the other ones because this package has arrived and I have to share it with you now because it is one of the most exciting things that I have purchased and that has arrived in a very long time. So obviously the focus will be the dyeing for today, and I will share this in more detail on another vlog this month, but I've just got to share opening it with you. I haven't actually opened this yet. But this is so exciting. I might need to put you up on the tripod. Oh no, look, there we go, look. Eek! Circular sock machine. So these, if you haven't heard about them, Ashcroft Makers are a Scottish company, and they have started making 3D printed circular sock machines. Now the big fancy metal ones, which are very hard to get hold of in the UK and generally need to be ordered from the States, are about £1,000, and then you have to add 20% customs as well as very, very expensive shipping on top of that. These are a lot cheaper. They're not cheap, I wouldn't say at all, and to be fair, they shouldn't be, because there's a lot of work involved in designing and 3D printing them. So they're a completely appropriate price. But in terms of, you know, comparing it to the metal ones, they are a lot more affordable. And yeah, I'm very, very excited to finally have got one. So here it is in all its parts. I obviously have to assemble it. There is a really comprehensive user guide, so that's good. But look, a circular sock machine. I hadn't necessarily intended on getting a pink one, but I'd been cartjacked, I think, 2 or 3 updates. So I literally just grabbed whichever one said it was available first and just stuck it in my basket. But I don't mind. I'm quite happy with a pink one. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this together. The warranty doesn't cover business use. So to start with, I will obviously just kind of get used to it using my own stash and knitting socks for me and my family and things like that. But eventually, once I'm used to it and once I'm happy with how it all works and it's not likely to break on me, then hopefully I'll be able to use it to get some samples and stuff done, which will be a massive, massive help for the shop, especially with the self-striping. So this is the merino silk after the first batch of colour. It's not coming up quite as bright on the camera. I was about to say it's really, really bright. It's kind of almost a turquoisey kind of blue, which is not quite the colour I was going for. So I think what I'm going to do is take this out and put another blue in there just to tone it down, kind of just layers of colour to aim for a nice kind of tonal semi-solid. And as for the merino cotton, I put far too much yellow in. I've not used this yellow before. It's a new yellow to me. And I've obviously I guessed, and it was a little bit too bright. So we're going to change this. I think I'm going to go for maybe like a peachy corally colour. We'll see what happens. And here's the sock blank. I need to turn this over and repeat what I did on the other side. But I have to say, I'm quite liking this. The colours worked the way I wanted them to. I think it will be quite good fun. It'll be interesting to see once I've turned it over. Right, so I've got the base colours down on these two now. That's much better, not looking nearly as bright, which is wasn't what I was going for. I'm tempted to darken this one a little bit more as well. I think I might put some speckles on this one now. And then this is the one that was yellow, and it's done exactly what I hoped it would do. I've put some pink in there, and we've got this gorgeous kind of tonal peachy colour, which I really, really like. I'm debating what to do, whether to put some speckles on this or whether to just leave it as a tonal, actually. Knowing me, I'll probably put speckles on it. And now I need to have a little look at the sock blanks. Excuse the state of my hob, by the way. I obviously have to clean down my hob and everything quite thoroughly after I've dyed, so I didn't see the point in cleaning it before I dyed. I did go with speckles because everything's better with speckles. So this is the BFL silk. The steam is blowing everywhere, and I'm really, really pleased with this. I love how this has come up. I can't wait to see it dry. I've put a few darker speckles on there and a few kind of pops of blue speckles. So again, it's quite subtle in terms of speckled. You could very easily do like a garment in this and it would be relatively subtle because the speckles are all the same colour as the yarn. But I really like the effect that gives. And then this is the merino cotton. I'm so happy with how this has come out this time. That peachy kind of colour that I wanted, that kind of peachy coral colour is lovely. And yeah, the speckles have worked really, really, really well on this. So I need to turn these off now and get them into soak. And then I'm going to start on the Halloween yarn and one more sock blank. So the sock blanks, the first sock blank is done and I absolutely love it. I'm trying to get it out to show you a little bit more clearly. It won't be easy to show you until obviously it's dried, but I love the way that it's taken the colour and I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm going to put this into soak now, and I'm thinking that one of these I'm going to keep for me and one of these will be a prize for the summer holidays make along. What are you after?
Your phone.
You want my phone? You can't have my phone.
And to play a game on it.
Oh, do you? You never play games on my phone.
I do.
So this is my Halloween colourway, or one of them. You saw one that's going to be my Halloween colourway earlier in the month, when I messed up and then ended up creating a new colourway. But this one was obviously designed with Halloween in mind, and I am calling this Goosebumps. It was inspired by the books. Did you ever read the Goosebumps books? I think there was a TV series at some point as well, but I read the books in my days, when I was young. So yeah, Goosebumps. I just need to get that into soak now. And they're all done. Whoops. And the sock blank's the same. I'm really pleased with how the sock blank's taken it. They definitely are related, if that makes sense. Someone asked me yesterday what sea glass is, and I mentioned it when we were at Tentsmuir, saying that it wasn't a very sea glassy beach. And somebody asked, what is sea glass actually, what is it? What is it made of? And it kind of hadn't occurred to me that people wouldn't have known, because I guess if you don't live anywhere near the sea, you will never have come across it. This is all sea glass, and sea glass is literally glass that has been worn down by the waves and worn down by the sea, and it would have been crushed against rocks and stuff like that. And it just forms this gorgeous kind of smooth glass. No sharp edges, just really, really smooth and lovely. Camera's having a little bit of fun focusing on it. And I've got a few pieces that can really show kind of where it's come from. Like this one, for example, this was clearly the bottom of a bottle. And if I can catch the light on there properly, you can just see that it says Heinz, Great Britain. So this was obviously the bottom of, I assume it was the bottom of a ketchup bottle or something like that, Heinz tomato sauce. But yeah, it's just been worn down by the waves and by the sea and stuff like that. And I've got a few pieces that, again, like this one, you can see that was the top of a bottle. And these ones have got really interesting kind of texture on them. They were obviously part of something. And still got sand in it. But yeah, I love sea glass. I always find it really interesting to pick up. This one, again, was obviously the edge of some kind of bottle. You can kind of see some writing on there. Yeah, our beach itself, Broughty Ferry Beach, has lots and lots of sea glass. We get loads on the beach, and in lots of different colours, as you can see. I mean, I've got blues, greens, whites, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, that's what sea glass is. Literally just glass, but glass that's been worn down by the sea.